So on the very top of your resume, we have this section called the headers. And if you're not familiar, it's this little section even above your summary that contains your name and contact information. And in this video, I want to share with you the secrets behind designing a clean-cut header. And I'll also be sharing with you 7 different header design samples. And lastly, some acceptable fonts you can use for the headers, because the fonts we use for the headers can be different from the fonts we use for the body of your resume. I'm Professor Job Offer, and I've spent the last 10 years with a number of Forbes Global 2000 companies. And today, I want to share with you on how to design the headers for your resume and cover letter. So let's define this first. What is a header? So a header is a small section that is on the very top of your resume. And think of it as a little business card. It has your name and the contact info. And the purpose is it actually makes it very convenient for the reader, usually the hiring manager or the human resources department, to identify the applicant, which would be you. And a header should have these things. The 3 must-have items a header should be your name followed by a designation. And when I say designation, I mean things like the PMP, which means the Project Management Professional, or RN for Registered Nurse, or MBA for Masters of Business Administration, followed by your phone number and professional email address at which they can contact you. And you can also have these optional items such as your LinkedIn, your location, and the professional website. And the secret behind designing a clean-cut header is a table. Not one of these, but one of these. Let me show you what I mean. So first sample using the font Calibri. This is Joe got an offer, and this individual used a table to nicely organize their information using their name, contact info, and the LinkedIn just below. And if you remove the borders on a table, it looks just like this, and this is what you would put on your header, or as your header. Let's take a look at another sample using the font Cambria. And this is Stan Lee, who has a PMP designation and decided to include the cell phone number, email address, and in the last line has their professional website, which is stanleyblog.com, followed by their LinkedIn. And same thing here, if you remove the borders, it comes out nice and clean. The third sample using Garamond. This is Carrier, who has an MBA designation located in Seattle. And in the third line, they have their contact information. In the fourth line, they have decided to list their websites at which they can be reached. And please don't worry so much if you don't have a professional website. It's not for everyone. Just include whatever you can on there. And once you remove the borders, it looks just like this. By the way, if you are working on your resume and if you want your education section to look just like this, or like this, be sure to check out my video on education on resume line by line, where I take you throughout your education section and literally tell you how to write it line by line. Sample number 4 is Georgia, using the font Georgia. This is Johan Wilson, who is based out of Toronto, Ontario, followed by the contact information. You'll notice this person actually just has 2 rows on their table, and they've just used the dividers to separate the information between the location and phone number and the email address. So it's a very nice and simple design. This sample number 5 is using the font Helvetica. And this is New Job, who's decided to actually highlight their specialty as a project coordinator, and followed by their contact info on the right side and the location. Same thing, you just remove the borders and this would just stick right on top of your resume. Okay, and sample number 6, this is using the font Arial. And this individual's name is just graduated, and they have some expertise in software engineering. And they decide to use little emojis to highlight how they can be contacted, phone, email, and the location. And you remove the borders on the table, looks just like this. And the last sample I want to show you is the Trebuchet MS. And Trebuchet is apparently named after some catapult from France. And this is Rachel Hugel, who has some expertise in marketing and sales. And they have the contact info on the bottom and the location. They decided to actually include some images of marketing and sales to highlight their expertise. Okay. So if you'd like to add some images, then feel free. That's also okay. And removing the borders makes it look like this on top of your resume. So just a quick recap, I showed you the secret behind creating a clean cut header is to use a table, and showed you 7 different header design samples and some acceptable fonts you can use for the headers. I'm Professor Job Offer, and I'm here to help you get closer to your next job offer. Thanks for watching.